North Korea.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Sehr geehrte Sender, wir berufen als Unterstützung die Muntakhab al-Jamhuriyya al-Islamiyya al-Irani. And now, the national anthem of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. والآن مع النشيد الوطني لمنتخب الجمهورية الشعبية الديمقراطية الكورية الشمالية.
Well, Iran are defending an unbeaten record against North Korea that stretches to 16 games, 13 wins and 3 draws. But it could be a tight match tonight. Team Melli have conceded just 1 goal in the last 4 internationals. North Korea, none over the same time span. Now, Iran have made 4 changes. They've had a bout of flu that swept through their camp this week, and that may have accounted for some of the absentees, although captain Jawad Nekunam, who is said to be suffering the worst, starts. Rezai, Tayman, Golami and Shojai all drop out, so there's a new-look strike partnership between Zobahan's Mohamed Kalabari and Karim Ansariford, who's attracted the interest of Borussia Dortmund after scoring 13 goals for his club Saipa last season. Our match official is Nawaf Shakrullah of Bahrain. His assistants, compatriots Khaled Al-Alan and the Syrian Mohamed Jawdat Melawi.
Respect our position and I will help you and help you. Okay?
Well, as you can hear, he speaks good English. The Bahrainian referee, the 2 captains, Jawad Nekunam of Iran and Hong Yong-jo of North Korea. He who missed, of course, that penalty against the UAE on match day 1. A couple of changes for the North Koreans, and as if they weren't cautious enough against the United Arab Emirates, they've added another defender in Ri Jun-il. So I think we can expect a 5-man back line Moon In-guk comes into the midfield, and star striker Jong Tae-se plays despite suffering from a nagging knee complaint. Afshin Gotbi will leave Iran after this tournament and coach Shimizu in the Japanese J-League. He says he not only wants to win this competition, but to leave in place foundations for qualifying for the World Cup in Brazil in 3 years' time. Jo Tong-sop has already won an Asian tournament. Last year, his North Korean under-19 side defeated Australia to win the regional title. Well, the referee wants to get on with it. The Iranians still in the team huddle. Reminder, a win tonight will give Iran qualification for the last 8. So it's Iran in all white and Korea in all reds, who get us underway at the Qatar Sports Club. Group D, of course, was labelled a group of death, but there's still plenty of life left in the 4 teams involved at the moment. However, Andy Harper, Iran probably the clear favourites today.
Well, they would be the clear favourites, Simon. Probably are the clear favourites with that flu hanging over the team. However, maybe they come back to the pack a little bit, and maybe stung by the flatness of their first performance, North Korea can rise a peg or two. There's going to be an almighty clash of talent and physique when Jong Tae-se, if he is fit, because there's a bit of an injury cloud around him, matches up against Hadi Agili on the ball now, and his central defensive compatriot on the ball also. Jalal Hosseini, 2 huge men, very good defenders. Had Yunus Mahmoud completely in their pocket at Al Rayyan the other night, which is a nice mean feat.
And is it fair to say, Andy, that both these sides really are built on structured defence?
Well, certainly. I mean, certainly North Korea have been very difficult to beat. That's why they got to the World Cup. They weren't so difficult to beat at the World Cup, of course. I think Iran have got more football in them, but sometimes that doesn't count for everything in a football game.
Early touch for the goalkeeper, Mahdi Rahmati. And this is the very highly rated fullback, Ehsan Haj Safi. Karim Ansarifard trying to link up in midfield with Peshman Nouri. It's the Korean left fullback, or left wing back as it will probably be today, Jong Kwang-ik.
Ball first, then man. Referee says play on.
Pak Nam-chol to Cha Jong-hyuk, and he'll try and release Moon In-guk. One of the changes made by the Korean coach today. Reminder of how it stands in Group D. Iran top of the section with 3 points after their win over Iraq. North Korea and the UAE with a point each from their draw. And the reigning champions at the moment, bottom. The other game between Iraq and the UAE, of course, a little bit later on tonight. And here come the Koreans through Jong Kwang-ik. Hadi Agili with the big lump forwards. Certainly the North Koreans heavily outnumbered in the stands. It's going to be a contrast in the stands, Andy. The real raw passion of the Iranian supporters with their flags and their drums, and the choreographed North Koreans in the section away to the right.
Less spontaneous.
Just slightly.
And dressed in their Sunday best.
There they are, all in the white shirts and the pristine ties. Now, I'll probably be looking to get a little bit more out of Jong Tae-se tonight. was a little bit isolated, particularly in the second half against the Emirates. You do wonder just how fit the Bochum striker is. There he is, battling for possession. There's the Iranian drummer, or at least one of them. Fervent support for the team nicknamed Team Melly. But without a continental success since 1976. Hard to believe. Same as South Korea without a title since 1960.
I've got a good look at South Korea yesterday. They're going to be hard to stop. On the evidence of game one for Iran against Iraq, they'll be hard to stop. So we're looking to see if they can back that performance up with another convincing display here against North Korea.
Iman Mobali to take, who was on the score sheet against Iraq. Lee Myung-guk between the posts for the North Koreans, nicknamed Cholima, the 1,000-mile horse. Mobali's delivery. And it might drop for the diminutive Mohamed Kalabari, but now Shukrala has spotted an infringement.
Gili just couldn't make contact there. It was a tasty free kick. He's going to take all sorts of containing from set pieces for North Korea is Agili.
Another free kick for Iran. Infringement by Moon In-guk, who plays for a club known as April the 25th in North Korea. I don't think anybody knows too much about North Korean domestic football. Oh, that's a very clumsy foul by the Iranian skipper, Jawad Nekunam. Clearly took the legs from under Hong Yong-jo, his North Korean equivalent.
Yeah, it was a scything tackle from Nekunam. There's absolutely no chance he could have won the ball there.
He's lucky to escape a yellow there.
Very lucky to escape a yellow there. Maybe the only thing going in his favour was the early nature or early stages of the game scenario. Often referees are a little bit hesitant to award yellow cards early in the piece.
Jo Tong-sop on the edge of the technical zone. The North Korean coach making some adjustments as Ri Jun-il delivers the free kick towards Jong Tae-se. Now Kim Kook-jin back into midfield for An Yong-hak. They're going to be difficult to pass, the muscular Iranians, which is why, I suppose, as the flag is raised for offside, Jong Tae-se is so crucial to the North Koreans' hopes of a victory today.
No, there's no doubt about that. He's in wonderful form in the Bundesliga. He's just going to need his fair share of service here today.
Route 1 free kick from Hadi Agili. There he is with the headbands. Plays for Sepahan, the Iranian Pro League. Club that reached the final of the Asian Champions League some 4 years ago. Claims for handball, and the referee's assistant on the near touchline agrees. Jalal Hosseini.
Well, it's got to be intentional. I don't know how that could have been intentional. Nevertheless, it's been awarded. He's in a good position.
There's that man, Jong Tae-se.
He'll surely be the target. He's got Hadi Agili right on him.
Moon In-guk to deliver. Pretty flat delivery. Still a chance for Jong Tae-se at the far post. It was flicked on initially by An Yong-hak. Now he ran clear long. Into touch off the boots of Jong Kwang-ik. Afshin Gotbi spent many years in the United States. Speaks fluent English. Also spent many years in South Korea as well. That's a scything tackle by Hong Yong-jo on the Iranian number 18 Peshman Nouri. Now, he was sinned against some minutes ago, and Nekunam escaped a yellow card for his challenge, but the North Korean skipper doesn't.
Well, it's the issue of inconsistency that it irritates players at times.
Well, it's a two-footed challenge, but it's no worse than Nekunam's.
No, I agree. So they both should have a yellow card if one does.
Nobali to Kalapari. Good header clear by Ri Kwang-chon. And Kim Kuk-jin prods it forward for Pak Nam-chol. And the foul by Karim and Salifat. Fouls committed already, and we've only played 10 minutes. North Korea are always going to be competitive in this group, despite their lowly ranking. World Cup finalists, of course, making just their third appearance on the regional stage. They made it so far as the semi-finals way back in 1980. Haven't been at the finals since 1992. This is Moon In-guk. But he's run the ball out of play. Jong Kwang-ik. Very left-sided and draws the foul from Khosrow Haidari.
Very tidy operator, Jong Kwang-ik. Very nice left foot, good close, tight control. Got out of a difficult situation here, ultimately winning the free kick, the challenge there. North Korea would be well served to release him more than they do down the left-hand flank.
Floated forward by Cha Jong-rok. This is the dangerous Jong Kwang-ik. Pak Nam-chol looking for Jong Tae-se, and just catching practice really for Mahdi Ramati.
Not a bad option though from Pak Nam-chol. He saw some space early, looked to find that space. Jong Tae-se was unmarked momentarily, the cross overhit.
Gili again goes route one. It's clearly a tactic that Iran are going to use to try and make best use of the height of Karim and Sarifat.
Well, let's hope it's only an early game tactic, Simon, to make sure things are tight before they look to play. I think they're a better team than just to play percentage football. They certainly were the other night against Iraq. Why they wouldn't use that as the measure for what's required here today. Tackles are flying in, there's no question. Pak Nam-chol is going to be the latest to be spoken to by the referee.
Mohamed Kalabari is the man on the receiving end.
Maybe another yellow card.
Pak Nam-chol, one of two players in the North Korean squad with exactly the same name, and it was a very rash and overly robust challenge.
Well, he's been brought into the centre of midfield. He played wide midfield against the UAE, but he's a nuggety, uncompromising, tough midfielder. He's been brought into the centre to try and get a grip on Iran's midfield, which is so beautifully orchestrated by Nekunam. Tamurian not here today, not even on the team sheet, Simon. Leads me to think that he's the player who's stricken with the flu more than anyone else. As he is a wonderful player, had a wonderful game against Iraq. And I'm sure Pak Nam Chol's redeployment into a central midfield position is to try and knock the stuffing out of Iran's midfield. Not that they're looking to use it at the moment, Team Nelly.
Yeah, they're pretty much bypassing the midfields in these early stages. Maybe that injury to Teymourian is one of the reasons why I've drafted Khosrow Haidari into a midfield role today, and he is normally a defender. So maybe just a little bit thin on the bones, Iran.
Well, the other thing they're not coming to grips with is the swirling breeze here at the Qatar Sports Club today. Coming for any particular direction, it seems to be changing direction, and players lifting the ball. Ball's been caught by the breeze and curling away from an intended recipient.
Now Iran penalised for a high foot. Mohamed Nosrati.
Oh, 2 high feet there. Just as the first one to get to the ball is the one that's been pinged. Stop-start affair.
Ramati organising his wall of 2. Jong Tae-se is on free kick duty. Might he have a pop at goal from here? Well, the Bahraini official, I don't think, has endeared himself to either team thus far. A little bit over fussy. And yet not strict enough in other regards. Here's Jong Tae-se. Oh, he hit that one, didn't he? And the goalkeeper blocked it. And it's eventually blazed wide by Pak Nam Chol. But that was struck with real power by Jong Tae-se. That was moving like an arrow.
Well, it's brilliantly hit. And the key to these, from such an improbable angle as well, is to concentrate on the contact. Don't worry about where the keeper is and where the defenders are. Just pick your spot on the ball and give it as much technique as you can, because of the conditions, because of the nature of the modern football, and certainly because of the swirling breeze. Just let the atmosphere do the rest, and that's what Jong Tae-se did very successfully.
He'll feel it's a pity he's not playing with the Jabulani again.
He'll be the only one.
Well won in midfield by Kim Kook-jin. Nosrati. Iran really haven't found their rhythm as yet.
And this looks to be the first passing movement they've tried. It hasn't worked for them, but it's taken them 17 minutes to even look like they're trying to pass their way through their opposition.
Ri Kwang-chon up towards halfway, where he'll find Pak Nam Chol, but showed too much of it to the Iranian defence. But now it's Hong Yong-jo trying to burst through. Well, there's some real heavy contact going on off the ball. It was like Skittles. He almost got a strike there.
Well, as it is, they'll have to settle for an attempted spare.
So here's Jalal Hosseini. Jawad Nekunam, who of course plays his football in La Liga with Osasuna. One of only 2 overseas based players in the Iranian squad. The other one, Masoud Shoje, plays at the same club as Nekunam. Here's another look at the free kick. The keeper did well, actually.
In the end, he did really well. Mahdi Rahmati. Ball swirling around all over the place. It's an expert piece of defending from Jalal Hosseini. Skipper Hong Yong-jo looked to be away. It was shaping up to be a really deft touch. Attacking midfield position, centre field.
And That's why the free kick was given. Although, well, in my opinion, he barely touched him, but there you go. Chested down by Hong Yong-jo. This is An Yong-hak. Now Pak Nam-chol has been very busy and very involved in the midfield for North Korea. I look for Jong Tae-se again. Nadia Gili's header. Now maybe Iran can try and set something up along the ground. This is Karim Ansarifai. Again, he's won the ball out of play in front of the mass ranks of the Iranian supporters.
Swelling ranks of the Iranian supporters, Simon. Since kickoff, they've moved in en masse around behind the goal now. Quite a sight, and they'll be making quite a noise if their team can score.
The North Koreans, in contrast, over that far side, sat in complete silence at the moment. In fact, in those shirts and ties, they looked, for all money, as though they're waiting for the dinner bell to be rung. Ri Jun-il. Foul by Hosseini on Hong Yong-jo. Possession stats almost even, Stephen, as we move past the 20-minute mark at the Qatar Sports Club. You'd think that the North Korean coach, Jo Tong-sok, will be pretty happy with the way his team has played at the moment.
Well, this is the key period of the game because they looked pretty good for the first 20 minutes against the UAE.
That's true.
The UAE from that point on, with Amir Abdulrahman and Ismail Mata, to name just two, started to play football. North Korea couldn't cope. That's the challenge for Iran. It shouldn't be a challenge. They've got plenty of football in them. They just haven't started to play it yet. For that, we need to give credit to North Korea. They're working in numbers. They're working hard off the ball. They're working to close down the player in possession, nullifying the opportunity for Iranian players to receive the ball, get their head up and try and pick a pass, as Nekonam tries now.
And he does so beautifully. Again, just a slight miscontrol by Khosrow Haidari. Trying to be taken by Nosrati. Clearance by Ri Kwang-chon. And now Pak Nam-chol. Stocky, physical sort of a player.
He's been on the ball more than anyone for North Korea. I'm not quite sure that's the way they'd be wanting it. Surely the idea is to get Hong Yong-jo on the ball more often than not, the number 10, the captain. And it's Pak Nam-chol, the water carrier of the North Korean team, who's had more possession than most.
Here is Hong Yong-jo, forward for Jong Tae-se. There's Moon In-guk on the right, but he went too early. The right-sided midfielder for North Korea.
I think it was Jong Tae-se who was coming back from an offside position.
I think you're right, Andy.
Nice move otherwise. Very promising for North Korea. Again, Hong Yong-jo, the man, feeding the ball into Jong Tae-se. His first time pass to Moon In-guk was a really nice one.
Well, we made the point against the UAE, Andy, that a team that qualifies for the World Cup shouldn't necessarily just come here to defend on the regional stage.
No.
If they're good enough to get to the biggest stage, they should be more than competent enough to at least compete here.
Well, those results in South Korea have really shaken them around. I mean, But they shouldn't even read too much into that. We were at Ellis Park. They did very well against Brazil in losing 2-1. Very, very well against Brazil. And for 55 minutes, they were in it against Portugal, just down 1-0 and even had a chance or two themselves. From that point on, of course, things went south rapidly. And then they seem to have been in damage control ever since. But they're a better football team than that.
This is Pejman Nouri with the long flowing locks, known as the Gladiator, back in Iran. Stray ball in midfield by Iran. Pak Nam Chol again to Moon In-guk. Now, this looks more threatening for the North Koreans, but Hong Yong-jo has to settle for the corner.
Who's been much better today already. We talked about North Korea having a pretty good opening 20-odd minutes against the UAE. That was largely without Hong Yong-jo doing much, apart from missing that penalty early. But his movement has been really impressive in this opening 25. Really impressive.
Left-footed corner towards the near post. Volleyed clear by Adi Agili. Ri Jun-il will return it with interest. This is a good spell here for North Korea. Can they get Hong Yong-jo in behind? And eventually it's blazed wide by Moon In-guk. But again, good stuff by the North Koreans.
Really good, really good. Persevering, continuing to ask questions. That was a very poor option in the end, though, from Moon In-guk. Players in that situation, they have to sense that the defence is panicking, they're not set. And to just blaze away on a low percentage volley like that unnecessarily releases the pressure valve on a team. Because you're right, Simon, they'd had and are having a good spell at the moment. Iran can't get clear consistently. The game is going the way of North Korea. Another poor pass.
Picked up in midfield by An Yong-hak. He's under heavy pressure from 3 Iranians and still picks out Cha Jong-hyuk. They're a bit too sharp at the moment, the North Koreans. This is Moon In-guk trying to burst through.
And again, look at the pressure under which he put Adi Agili, who can only just hack his ball clear and out for a throw-in. He's got plenty of toe about him, Moon In-guk. Physically, not much to him. If this wind gets much stronger, he might be in trouble. He might blow away. But whilst ever he's still in the game, he covers the ground with real speed.
Cha Jong-hyuk, who's one of the overseas contingent for the North Koreans, plays for FC Will in Switzerland, taking the throw-in. Hong Yong-jo. Oh, that's a beautiful ball. Moon In-guk. Iran under real pressure here, and that's well taken by Rahmati.
Well, happy for North Korea. They're taking their game to the next level. At this point against UAE, they conceded the match to Ismail Mata and Amir Abdulrahman, and now it's Hong Yong-jo, who peeled off the line beautifully there, turned and switched the play with a pinpoint pass. It was glorious to watch. Good signs for North Korea. It's another hit and hope from Iran.
Will they get something out of this? They might do. No, it's been pulled up for a foul. Ball's in the back of the net, but it will not count.
And I think the assistant referee, here we go. Oh, this referee's losing the plot already as far as I'm concerned. The assistant referee has played the foul there because his flag was up. And now, Karim Ansari Fard has been given a yellow card for delaying the restart, playing on after the whistle was blown. How he was supposed to know. And where's the foul?
Well, I think he's blown for handball, has he?
But it's got to be intentional. That's not intentional. It's gone for offside. It's not offside. Is he going for handball? Yes, he's gone for handball. And it's a poor, poor decision, compounded with the yellow card. Poor officiating.
It's Iran that get the free kick.
And from nowhere, North Korea have dodged a bullet, because that should have been play on. Prepared to give Ri Myung-gok in the North Korean goal the benefit of the doubt that he'd stopped with the whistle.
Whistle's blown again. The Iranian fans on that far side are getting hugely frustrated. Afshin Gokbi too. Here come the Iranians. Through Kalabari. Chipped up by Nouri. Chance for 2 million. Korea a little bit stretched, but eventually Ri Myung-gok plucks it out of the air.
And finally, almost from nowhere, Iran flicked the switch.
Well, I think the referee might have done him a favour here, Harps, because he's incensed the crowd, and I think there's a bit of fire in the belly of the Iranians.
Well, it could be a good call. And certainly from nowhere, they flicked the switch. Bit of improvisation, nice ball to the back post from Pejman Nouri. North Korea's defence panicking.
Still the long ball tactic being used, but Kalabari is very smart in waiting for the turnover. And at last there are signs of life from Iran.
Well, they're going to get more fired up based on your theory, Simon. They cannot follow some of these decisions.
Not sure we can, Andy.
No.
This is Pak Nam Chol to Jong Kwang-ik. There's no doubt that the tempo has increased over the last few minutes. Nekunam. Nouri just didn't look really as to where Kalabari was positioned. Moon In-guk, who's been hugely impressive. And that's well kept in by Cha Jong-hyuk.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful tackle. Clean, well timed from Haji Saf. I agree with the speculation coming out of Iran. These guys are talent. He looks every inch the football of the left fullback for Iran.
There is Had Shafi. Hosseini. On the line for Hadi Agili, and back again. Had Shafi plays for Sepahan.
An unusually high proliferation of players in this Iranian national team playing domestically, Simon. They went through the big names you reeled off, top of the broadcast. Spent numbers of years in the Bundesliga. Ali Daei, Koda Dadazizi. Most unusual to see a largely home-based national team for Iran, except for those two in the Spanish Primera Liga with Osasuna. Of course, Andrinik Teimourian is just back from the Premier League with Bolton and Fulham.
I don't think it's going to be too long before one or two of these players make the switch, though. Ash Shafi is perhaps the next in line. And Sarifat, as we said, attracting interest from Germany too. Have had a very long production line down the years. We missed out Madavikia and Hashemian. Wonderful players. was Agili, who very nearly went to Europe himself in 2009, almost signed for Freiburg. Seems that Germany is the preferred destination of a lot of Asian players. Good league to play in. Paknam Chol, now he's been robbed by Nekunam. Jansiel and Kalapati can't be released. Oh, the referee's fallen over. I think that's got the biggest cheer of the day.
Well, Paknam Chol with poor control and then conceding the free kick. He's got to watch it. He's sitting on a yellow card. Iman Mobili, man of the match from the Iran-Iraq game the other night. Couldn't quite get the pass where he wanted, and for that, at least in part, you can put down to the undue attention of Paknam Chol.
The stands continue to fill here at the Qatar Sports Club. The Iranians have been pouring through the gates ever since kickoff. I've not seen too much from their team. Just that one disallowed goal. Here's the free kick. It comes off a Korean head. And again, now Shukrala is at the centre of the action. He's almost worn out the P in that whistle ending. Where's the foul there? Well, maybe a little bit of push and shove, but...
Well, which way? That whistle's still working. You fancy the refs is going to run out of steam before too much longer. He's giving it a serious workout.
Nouri. Ball's going to be kicked out of play so that Jong Tae-se can get some attention. Very much the star man, the so-called People's Rooney. Fell rather heavily, maybe a clash of heads too with Adi Agili.
Well, the concern from his club at Bochum is, I think, a slight injury to his knee. They came very close to not releasing him for this tournament. Because of that, a fair bit of work had to go in behind the scenes to get him released.
Throw in for the Koreans to be taken by Cha Jong-hyuk. With the Doha skyline in the background. Cha's got to the byline, but a disappointing cross. There's a bit of an inquisition going on in the Iranian defence, being led by Mahdi Rahmati.
Good pressure from North Korea there, just refusing to allow Iran to play out from the back as best they can. Continuing to force errors in midfield. Won themselves another throw there. It's been the latest in a series.
Hong Yong-jo, robbed by Pejman Nouri. Tackle still flying in. Haj Safi with a huge up and under. Rather given away by Ri Kwang Chon. Now it's with Nekuna. Nosrati. Mobali. Nouri will spread the play. This is better by Team Melli. Haj Safi. Only partly away. Pejman Nouri then slips at the vital moments. The Iranians claim the foul, but I think he just fell over. Adi Agili under pressure. That's well done by the Iranians.
Yeah, but equally, well done. From North Korea, it's a clear slip. There's no foul. Referee got that one completely right. Didn't tickle Nuri either. He landed heavily on that shoulder.
There's the North Korean cheer squad. Whoever sells those shirts in Pyongyang is making a few quid.
Get a local supporters shop, don't you?
Now, Kalabari. So instrumental in Zobahan's run to the Asian Champions League final. Actually scored in that final against Songnam. Now, Jong Tae-se onside and on target, but can't get past Rahmati.
Well, twice on target now. Iman Mobili losing the ball for the umpteenth time. Clearly onside. Again, good officiating. Good strike on goal as well. At least it asked the question of keeper Rahmati, who was very tidy in the work he did. Wonderful player, Jong Tae-se. Something to see when in full flight. But Iran have got issues with Iman Mobili. He's been very poor in possession.
As was Mun In-guk there. This is Kalabari, just 5 feet 6 inches tall. Bags of talent. Well, I was just about to say, they're starting to get their passing game going a bit there, Iran.
Well, they're a bit closer together. It makes a big deal for a team that likes to move the ball around.
There's the official team stats. If you want more on that, visit the AFC website, www.the-afc.com.
But Iran can improve immeasurably with two players improving their performance in possession. Nuri has turned over at least 3 sloppy balls. And I've already mentioned Iman Mobili.
Shot from Kim Kuk-jin from long range.
And if just those two players can improve 50% when in possession, Iran can take the next step in this game.
They are the highest ranked team in this group, the so-called group of death. Rated 57 in the world by FIFA. That's good enough for a ranking of number 4 in Asia. And they've been tipped to win this title by no less than Hus Hiddink.
Aussie Hus.
Yeah, he tends to know a bit about major tournaments.
Well, he's coached 2 of the big favourites, Australia and South Korea. He knows their football cultures intimately. Indeed, he'd still know the core of the Australian team.
Nosrati. Now, Nuri on the volley. And he's got it horribly wrong.
One of those awful moments for a player where the shot starts at the knee, rolls down the shin and ends up on the big toe.
He knows it. Ashman Nuri, who plays for Malavan, learned his trade under the legendary Iranian coach Ali Parvin. Agili, again with rather agricultural knock-up fields. We do get the impression, Andy, that both Hosseini and certainly Agili are not hugely comfortable with playing out from the back.
No, particularly, well, a lot of central defenders don't really like it when strikers put the heat on them, close down their space when they're trying to play. They normally have it so easy, the guys at the back.
Spoken like a true ex-striker, as you were.
He doesn't mind a launch, though. Hadi Agili hasn't found his range at all today.
His radar is well and truly off.
No, but Nekonam is asking the question of Agili, why? The pumping. Let's play.
Well, you can tell the Iranian fans aren't particularly enthralled with their team at the moment because the Mexican wave is going around the stadium.
It's a sure sign.
This is Haydari. Nekuna. Aguili again. Bang. Into the channel. Oh, Haydari has snaffled back possession for Team Melli, but in all honesty, Andy, the big Korean central defenders will deal with those long balls all day.
Yeah, well, Ri Kwon Chong is an accomplished defender, and it's going to take more than that to get past him. Ri Chun-il, who's come into the team today, missed the UAE game. He was the captain of Jo Tong-sop's Olympic team, and no surprise that his coach has shown faith in him, and they've been largely untroubled at the back. Just one or two moments where Iran have looked to play. They're much more dangerous when they look to play.
Jong Tae-se looking to combine with Hong Yong-jo. Another big hoof, this time by Rahmati, and Kalabari scampers after it.
Ladies and gentlemen, there will be 1 minute of added time.
We're into injury time at the end of the first half. Iran yet to get out of first gear. Now, Haj Safi is well known for his long throw-ins. He's going to launch one here. Again, well defended by North Korea. Well, it's been a very physical contest, and the football that has been played, Andy, in the main, has been played by the Koreans.
Yeah. Just with a couple of moments from Iran, but you're right, it's been a good half for North Korea. They'll be much more satisfied with this 45 compared with just those few days ago against the UAE.
Half-time at the Qatar Sports Club. And it's goalless between Iran and North Korea. Well, not too many highlights. A couple of half chances for Jong Tae-se. At least he managed to get those on target and make Mahdi Rahmati work. And at the other end, I suppose the big talking point was Karim and Sarifard's goal that was disallowed. We'll never know whether the goalkeeper would have saved it anyway, because he clearly heard the whistle, but it was a contentious moment. And the referee has certainly been involved in plenty of the talking points as well. He's booked 3 players, 2 from North Korea, Pak Nam-chol and the captain Hong Yong-jo, and he's also booked and Sarifard of Iran as well. Welcome back to the Qatar Sports Club. They've got the best view in the house, haven't they, on the top of the stand? But in truth, there's not been too much to get excited about in the first period. North Korea have played most of the good football. Iran have yet to get going. Afshin Ghodbi have had an interesting half-time team talk. That's a heck of a wig, by the way. Mahdi Rahmati, marginally the busier of the 2 goalkeepers in the first period, and Iran are going to make a change as well at the start of this second half. Iman Mobali is going to be replaced as the North Koreans go through their huddle routine. And Mohamed Nouri, 27-year-old midfielder from the Persepolis club in Iran, will take his place. So we've got 2 Nouris on the field. Peshman, the number 18 with the longer hair, and that is Mohamed Nouri. And he is an attacking midfielder. He scored 6 goals in 20 appearances for his club last season. Is perhaps the key man for Team Melli, though, Jawad Nekuna. He hasn't really been able to dictate the play as much as he'd have liked in the first half. Let's see if the substitution makes a difference. Now, Shakrala, the Bahrainian ref, has been at the centre of pretty much everything in the first period, issuing 3 yellow cards and a few strange decisions too. But he's still smiling. Afshin Ghodbi perhaps not. So Iran in the all-whites, get us back underway, and they will hope, Andy Harper, I'm sure, for a much better performance.
Well, Coach Godby not happy. Bali was not really in the game that first half. Such a talented player. Whether he's struggling with the flu, we're led to believe many in the Iranian camp are, but he was well below what one would expect. So that change is not a huge surprise. Mohamed Nouri with the chance. It's a change of structure too. It was a 4-3-3 in the first half for Iran. It's become a 4-4-2. An extra man in midfield, perhaps. Godby looking to get more link play through that part of the field. It was bypassed very frequently by the defenders. Maybe the defenders pleaded their case at half-time and said, well, we're outnumbered in midfield, we've got no one to give it to.
No changes made by the North Koreans. They did at times play some pretty fluent football. Particularly impressed by Mun In-guk on the right-hand side of midfield. He's only knee-high to a grasshopper, Andy, but he was quite potent down that flank.
No, they had a number of good players. Park Nam-chol on the ball now, I think probably won them plenty of possession, plenty of a share of possession in midfield with his tenaciousness.
Here's Peshman Nouri striding forwards. Chance for Iran at the start of the second half, but it's straight down the throat of the goalkeeper.
Well, not what was required from Iran. Mohammad Reza Kalatbari needed to find a man, not just the space. There's no curl on the cross. It's easy for Ri Myung-guk to intercept that one. Jong Tae-se is down in the background again. Not a great sign for North Korea. He's in the wars, isn't he?
Hasn't looked 100% fit at this tournament. Still a threat, particularly from set pieces. When you play just one up top, which is pretty much what Korea do, North Korea that is, with Hong Yong-jo nominally to offer support, you can leave your front man a bit on his own, and that's certainly what happened against the UAE. This is Peshman Nouri. Iran have made a better start to this second period. Mohammad Kalatbari looking for the space for the cross, instead picks out the substitute Mohamed Nouri. Kalatbari will swing it in with the left boot. Nosrati. Haydari back to Mohamed Nouri.
Well, already Mohamed Nouri is given a good reason as to why he was brought into the team. He's settled the passing down immediately. It's a change of mentality from Iran. And that extra man in midfield is helping in these early minutes. Been quite dominant.
Foul by Mohamed Nouri. Winning his 16th cap tonight. Scored 3 goals for his country, a couple in one of the Asian Cup qualifiers against Singapore. It ended in a 6-0 win for Team Melli, as Hadi Agili staves off the attentions of Jong Tae-se. Jo Tong-sop has barely sat down since the first whistle. Ditto Afshin Hotby. This is Cha Jong-hyuk. Oh, worth a try.
It is worth a try. These immaculate playing surfaces in Doha for this 15th Asian Cup haven't really given any reason to think that a bad bounce is going to eventuate, but you never know. Cha backing himself, right fullback striking that one very nicely with his left foot.
Haidari. Looking for the return ball was Mohammad Nosrati. Instead, it's North Korea who will build through the impressive Pak Nam Chol. Looking for Jong Tae-se. First touch is good, down he goes. Referee waves away the penalty appeals.
Good ball, good first contact from Jong. He doesn't protest. He just wonders why it got away. Nervous moment for Iran. They're in much better nick these days that have passed. Beautiful work, Pak Nam Chol. It's a delightful pass. There is minimal contact at best. Nevertheless, Jalal Hosseini needs to be careful because one referee might wave play on, another might award a penalty for that.
Adi Agili to Nosrati. Back again to the muscular central defender. Nosrati with the ball up to Ansarifad. Agili puts it into touch. Have a look at that moment of promise for the North Koreans.
Beautiful chest control from Jong Tae-se, but his big frame was moving away from the ball as he controlled it. Just whatever contact there was from Jalal Hosseini was just enough to continue Jong Tae-se's body momentum away from the ball, and he hit the dirt. The referee adjudicated swiftly that nothing untoward had taken place and waved play on. Iran look to resume this period of control that they've won for themselves at the start of this half. That good moment for North Korea notwithstanding.
Are still liable to the odd long ball though, and Sarifard, I'm not sure, appreciates it. North Korea have got a man down. Ri Jun-il, who plays for Sobaksu in the North Korean League. North Korean League known as technical innovation contests in the first part of the championships. And then it moves on to the highest class football league for the ones who are successful in the first phase. There you go, that's all I know about the domestic scene in North Korea.
That's more than I've ever met anyone know anything about.
I need to get out more.
Apart from their national team. Well, they're giving a very good account of themselves here at the Qatar Sports Club.
Maybe you're going to fashion a chance here through their captain, Hong Yong-jo. That's a poor tackle from Hong Yong-jo, and he's in the book. He's going to have to be really careful.
Well, he got pinged for a two-footed tackle in the first instance, Simon, if my recollection is accurate. That was the yellow card. The referee is laying down the law in no uncertain terms. I think the North Korean skipper can count himself very lucky. Lunging in like that can go so horribly wrong for both tacklee and tackler.
Jalal Hosseini tidying up. We've had 31 fouls in the game. We actually had 10 in the first 10 minutes, so it's become
free-flowing by comparison.
Free-flowing by comparison, yeah. Goalkeeper Ahmati either not happy with his clearance or just struggling a bit with something. The Iranian goalkeeper just testing and flexing that right leg. sure whether he just tweaked a hamstring there or something of that ilk when he was making the clearance. Hadi Agili. Ejman Nouri stopped in his tracks by Rijun Il. Mohamed Nouri. Kalabari. Still, the Iranians struggle really to make any significant impact on the North Koreans, and their passing has not been of the highest class this afternoon. They are a difficult side to play against, aren't they, North Korea?
Well, they're closing the space down well. Iran are finding it really difficult, even considering that, to do anything in possession. There just simply isn't the cohesion in their attack. They're really missing. Well, Rezai, I thought he was eye-catching against Iraq down the right-hand side, the number 7. Well,
funny you should say that, Andy. Just as you mentioned that, the Iranian assistant has motioned to the Iranian number 7 to come back to the dugout from his warm-up routine and perhaps get ready to come on. So you might get your wish.
Well, I enjoyed watching him the other night. Disappointed to see him not start. I'm sure if he's a little bit sick as well, injured, or if it's a tactical thing, but he needs his fit to be playing because he can liven up this Iranian team, which is looking a little lethargic at the moment. North Korea are making them play that way. Credit to the team in red. But there's not a lot of goal threat on the football pitch at the moment. It's unfortunate for the neutrals. It's concerning for those with vested interests because to go anywhere, you've got to win matches. You can't just continually defend, and hope for something to go your way at the other end of the field. Iran should be making chances. They've got the pedigree to make chances. North Korea, in my opinion, should be looking for more play down the left-hand side. I think in John Kwangik, they've got a beautiful overlapping left fullback. And in Kim Kook-jin as a left midfielder. Those two work really nicely together. Why they're not looking to use them more is beyond me.
Now that's a good ball from Mohamed Nouri. Kalapari. Well, it was a very tight angle, but at least it was on target.
And I suspect he panicked just a fraction as the ball came to him. Nothing to stop him from putting his foot on that ball, turning, getting his head up and picking a teammate.
Rijun Il. Now it's North Korea's turn to go long. Clear foul by An Yong-hak. Man who plays his football in Japan with Kashiwa Reysol. Iran trying to find some rhythm. Rijun Il for North Korea. Moon In-guk in field for Pak Nam-chol, who's had a terrific match. Now with Jong Kwang-ik. And again, they try and hit Jong Tae-se early. That wind you talked about in the first half, Andy, starting to pick up off the Persian Gulf. It's just blown my notes all over the floor.
That's quite a breeze then, because you've got a veritable Brazilian rainforest there.
Nekunam, who's not quite been at his best this afternoon. Maybe still struggling with the after effects of the flu. It's going to be a change for both teams next time the ball goes out of play. North Korea going to bring on their number 7 too. being Ryang Yong-gi, who actually started the opening game against the United Arab Emirates. So it's Nosrati.
I wonder if Coach Gopi for Iran gives an early shower to the right back, Nosrati. Haydari could move back to right fullback. Rezai can move to right wing. It gives an entirely new attacking focus to the right-hand side.
You're bang on, Andy. That's exactly what he's doing.
Substitution for Islamic Republic of Iran. Player number 20, Mohammad Nosrati, has been replaced
Gholam
by
Rezai from Persepolis. And a change for North Korea too. Moon In-guk, who was impressive in the first half, less so in the second, will be replaced by Ryang Yong-gi. There's another one of the overseas North Koreans. Another one in Japan, plays for Vandalta Sendai. Javod Nekunam trying to inspire his team. The captain has not really been at his brilliant best today. Hosseini nips in ahead of Hong Yong-jo. Now it's with the fullback, Hash Safi. Early ball. Peshman Nouri into the box. There's the goal for Iran. Karim Al-Sarifat. Finally, the deadlock is broken. To huge cheers from the Iranian supporters. And what a wonderful finish by Karim Al-Sarifat.
Well, Afshin Godby has rung the changes, but it's not the substitutions who've linked. It's Pejman Nouri with a beautiful ball, curling delightfully. What about the expert touch from Karim Al-Sarifat? As expert as they come, the defence punched, the touch glorious, the back of the net rattled, and Iran go a goal up just on the hour. Beautiful
that is a
finish.
Beautifully deft touch from the man who is interesting Borussia Dortmund. And North Korean resistance is broken in the 63rd minute. It's been a tense, nervous afternoon for the team in white, but finally they created a chance, and my, how they took it. And what did North Korea have in response? Pak Nam-chol, a handball.
The one point I will make about John Taisei's play, Simon, is lethal in the box, good finisher, etc. In general play, with just that replay just a little bit earlier, it's clear handball on Pak Nam-chol. The bread and butter of his link play in attack is to come off the line and hit first-time angle passes with his right foot. And the defenders are reading it way too easily. As soon as John Taisei is moving off the line, defenders now are letting him go, and they're just picking off the one-touch layoff as he looks to find a winger. He's got to bring a little bit more variety. Different story when he's in the box, of course, because we know he's lethal.
A very good point, Andy. Here is Hong Yong-jo. And now the North Koreans are really going to have to come out and play.
Well, there's a pile of Persians gathered here to support their team Melek. All of a sudden have found their voice. Their team's been pretty flat. It was a delightful goal. I reckon perhaps expect more now as North Korea have to come out and try and equalise. That substitution, Haydari, the number 2, who was playing as an attacking right midfielder, is now at right fullback, leaving that right wing position for Rezai. Another change for North Korea.
And they're taking off John Taisei. I just don't think he's fit.
No, he can't be at his best.
Pak Chol-min is the new man. He is a striker. Plays for Rim Yong-soo in the North Korean League. And he'll be a direct replacement, and that's a foul, is it not? Well, no. Referee's assistant was close enough to it as Jalal Hosseini steps across Hong Yong-jo. And all of a sudden, this game has real intensity. It was almost a standoff beforehand.
It was, and before the game, Ashwin Godby knew he needed to score first to bring North Korea out of their shell, because he knew they were going to be tough to break down. I don't think they went about their business in the first half as well as they might in trying to break North Korea down, but that one moment of brilliance with the pass and the finish has given them the break, and now he's got his desire, which is to drag North Korea out. Now they can steal possession and attack on the counter.
Which they're doing here through Mohamed Kalabari to Mohamed Nouri. Well, he presumes that the fullback, which is now Khosrow Haidari, was further forward than he was.
Jo Tong-sop has deployed two out-and-out strikers now. Hong Yong-jo has moved into an out-and-out forward position with the substitute Pak Chol-min.
Iran with nearly 3/4 of the possession. That, by the way, the first goal that North Korea have conceded in 3.5 games. That's how tough they are to break down. We remember that from the World Cup qualifiers. I think they only conceded 5 goals in the last round of qualifying in 8 matches. Here's another look at the Iran goal, and it's a very special touch.
But it's a simple goal in construction too. I mean, you should never get caught off a throw-in, really. A set piece like that, however quickly it's taken. Cha Jong-hyuk caught on the wrong side of Pejman Nouri. And it was a formality from there.
Haj Safi has got a kick in the face, but the free kick has gone to North Korea, which the Iranian fans can't quite believe.
He said that's handball. Goodness knows how.
How on earth is that a free kick to North Korea?
Well,
baffling decision.
Good position too. They've lost some tall timber in Jong Tae-se. An Yong-hak, the number 17, could be the intended target here.
He's lurking with intent at the back post. Could be a key moment halfway through the second half. In fact, it was the centre-back, Ri Kwang-chon. And then it's blasted from long range by Chan. That's a good save by Rahmati through a sea of legs. Really good block by the goalkeeper. North Korea alive and kicking here. They've got to be careful not to leave too many gaps further back. They don't normally, of course.
But if they keep the ball, it shouldn't be an issue. They're good enough to keep the ball as well. They can manage keeping the ball with maintaining pressure on Iran. It's going to work for them. This is a stinging effort from Cha.
That's great technique.
Rahmati did well. Looked on first inspection as though he was scrambling. In the end, it was more comfortable, just safety first.
Now, Hong Yong-jo has got pace, but Hadi Aguli has strength. They're really battling hard here, the North Koreans. And it still does make you wonder, Andy, when they've got this sort of talent. They're clearly a very fit side. They can play at a very intense and high level.
Yeah.
Why they sit back so often.
And particularly when you look at the makeup of their team now, Simon, there's not a lot of big players there. Got a couple of bigger guys in the centre of defence. It suits them to keep the ball on the ground and run opponents around, not just hack the ball clear and try and chase something down. But I agree, they have relatively good technique individually. They're very, very sharp across the ground, very disciplined and fit and full of fight. So we've got all those ingredients. Why they would play into the hands of bigger defenders by hooking hopeful balls upfield, to me, remains a mystery.
It's almost a knee-jerk reaction, isn't it?
It's a lack of confidence, I think.
Yeah.
It's a lack of cultural confidence in your football.
Maybe reflects the isolation of the country without going into politics too deeply. Anyhow, Nekunam, wonderfully measured pass. Razai, back for Haidari. Now Hosseini. Keshman Nouri. Safi. Kalabari.
Well, this is more like it. More control, more pattern. To North Korea's credit, they've managed to stop Iran from doing exactly this for most of the game, but this is a good controlled passage of play from Iran, linking nicely.
Kalabari had it taken off his toe, but it broke nicely for Razai. Here is Kalabari. Second goal would probably make the game safe. Kept in play by Haidari. Pak Chol-min was on his own, couldn't control it. Nekunam. Iranians now happy to be patient. Gone is the long ball of the first half.
Amazing, isn't it?
Well, it was until then.
That was the goalkeeper we're talking about.
They don't count, Andy, do they? Clear push by Keshman Nouri. And this is Ri Kwang-chol. Pak Nam-chol with the attempted chip.
Too narrow, way too narrow. Iran's troops are amassed centre field. There's space on the flanks. Pak Nam-chol might be his game. He needs to be a little bit more expansive, particularly in angling the balls down this left-hand side. I think there's enormous territory for North Korea down here. Two wonderful players. Jong Kwang-ik. Kim Kook-jin, numbers 12 and 23 respectively. Why not use them more? I find it baffling.
Maybe another change shortly for Iran. They've used two of their allotted three. It's Hong Yong-jo's vital statistics. And well, you can see where the hot spot is. It's not probably quite further up enough the field for his coach's liking. And that's the system they played. Safi, now linesman's flag has been raised.
Dear.
For what?
That's terribly frustrating for players. For nothing. Haji Safi was leaning in, as far as I could see, to Pak Chol-min. There's nothing. Let's just play on, please.
It's the Iranian fans you can hear at the Qatar Sports Club. Shade over a quarter of an hour to go. And Team Melli sat pretty fair for the second phase of the competition. Where, of course, they would cross over with the group involved, or involving Australia and South Korea. Bahrain still in with a shout as well, of course. That would be a real heavyweight quarter-final. unless Joe Tong Sop
Ladies and gentlemen,
can weave a bit of magic from the coaching bench.
60,488. سيداتي والسادة، عدد حضور رسمي للجماهير المتواجدة في المباراة اليوم هو 6488.
Afshin Gopi arguing the toss with the referee. They're only about 10 or 15 metres away. Here's Paknam Chol. Goes for the spectacular. Scored a couple of goals in World Cup qualifying. Paknam Chol, but not on that occasion. That's the state of play with a quarter of an hour to go. Play despite the best efforts of Kim Kook-jin. Foul throw. We don't often see those pulled up, but then we've had a bit of a mixed bag from the Bahrainian referee tonight. Well, I'll tell you what, if he's going to pull that one up, he's got to do the other one too, because that was a foul throw.
Sometimes it's better to say nothing.
You might be right. You've watched Iran twice, Andy. This being the second time. Are they challenges?
They're flattened out tonight. They were looking very strong against Iraq, and maybe that particular fixture brings extra out of the players. Who knows? But they've been shown a thing or two, I think, to the rest of the competition tonight. In North Korea, and certainly Iran's performance has flattened out. On any given day, however, they're going to be enormously difficult to beat. Get Taymurian back into the team if he's fit and well. Makes a big difference.
Now here's a chance for North Korea, perhaps. Paknam Chol. There are too many bodies in the way. Surely they still might get the shot away, and they do. From the substitutes Ryang Yong-gi. But again, it was too narrow. Their perseverance almost paid off.
Well, they're not going to give up. And they somehow worked this from a very, very tight situation. Again, what they're lacking at the moment is that poise in the front half of the field. When they've got the ball set and when Iran's defence is set and amassed, not to be a little bit more patient and try and spread the Iranian defence, because it's a real logjam in there. They've got to try and open that up a little bit before going for the killer pass or the shot.
Yet to score at this tournament, of course. Missed a penalty against the UAE. It's a clear body check behind play from Kim Kook-jin. Referee didn't see it. Away comes Razai. Runs into An Yong-hak, and North Korea come away with it. Oh, he's got some pace, has the number 10, Hong Yong-jo. And the goalkeeper has perhaps been injured in the collision. Maybe Hong Yong-jo too.
It's the third time Hong Yong-jo's flown in. He's carrying a yellow card because of the first time he flew in. He's entitled to go for the ball.
No, it's just the momentum, isn't it, that takes them into each other. Hadi Agili got away scot-free from the physical stuff.
A little careless, hence the free kick. Fair enough. And he's entitled to go for the ball. It was the momentum that carried him in. The referee says, well, momentum or not, that's a careless bit of work. Players can get hurt.
Well, just about 10 minutes away from seeing their team clinch a spot in the quarterfinals. And you can see by that heat map that the North Koreans haven't been able to put any sustained pressure on Mahdi Rahmati. They had a couple of good chances in the first half chances perhaps you could call them. And that beautiful free kick from Jong Tae-se. Yep. Not a lot else. It's pretty bland. I think that's the word I've been looking for North Korea. It's unfortunate. They've got to spice things up a bit. They've got the ingredients. They've just got to spice it up on the field a little more than they do. Well, surely he wasn't 10 metres away. The North Koreans took it quickly to their own disadvantage. Kalabari trying to thread it through. And Sarifard, of course, already on the score sheet. Long ball by North Korea. Hong Yong-jo can't get there. Kim Kook-jin might. And now Pak Nam-chol. Oh, that's a clear foul, surely. Well, he can't read it. He can't work this out at all. He shouldn't have been in the position where he was going to get fouled, though. John Kwang-ik was down the left-hand side in a fantastic overlap and crossing position. Exactly what North Korea needed. Pak Nam-chol hesitated. He was fouled, but it shouldn't have got to that point. Mystifying, some of the decisions. Nekunam, very elegant footballer, Jawad Nekunam. Pejman Nouri goes down with an injury, but play on is the decision. Now can North Korea find a bit of penetration here? They've managed to dig it out through the substitutes. Park Chol-min. Now some attention for the man known as the Gladiator. His pass completion rates, I'd dare to suggest, has improved in the second half. Indeed, that's what we talked about it needing. There's a man who's committed the foul. I don't know how that hurt. Maybe he's jarred his knee. It looked like his contact. But it was his assist for the goal, of course. And that was a delightful pass. Look, he started the game slowly. We said in the first half, the two things that Iran needed to do to be a more convincing football unit was to get Iman Mobali in better nick. Well, obviously he wasn't going well enough to maintain his place, and Nouri as well needed to improve his passing, which he seems to have done. There's the goal scorer, Karim Ansarifat, his third goal for his country. Meantime, Pejman Nouri, like the true gladiator he is, says he doesn't need the cards. That particular gladiator is still being forced to leave the arena, at least momentarily. The Iranian fans in fine voice. They believe their team is on the verge of the last 8. Handball against Ansarifat. The interesting thing about the Iranians, last 4 tournaments they've made the last 8, and on each occasion they've faced South Korea. Went out on penalties to them 4 years ago. And of course that is a possibility again, that they might face them for a 5th time. It is a possibility, but it's a diminishing one. If they win here, it'll be 6 points, and they'll be a shoo-in, you'd reckon, for top spot. South Korea shares top spot with Australia at the moment, 2 games in, separated only by goal difference. But game 3, South Korea play India, Australia play Bahrain. You'd have to expect of the 2 matches, South Korea have the more straightforward assignment. So the probability is South Korea will top their group, which would mean they'd avoid Iran in the quarterfinals if Team Melli can top this Group D.
maybe that the breaking of that sequence will allow one of them to go and break what has been an incredibly long drought for two powerhouses of Asian football. 35 years since Iran has won. South Korea lifted the trophy last in 1960.
Pejman Nouri back on the park. That causing trouble for North Korea. Nekunam wins the header. Mohamed Nouri will sweep it out to the right side. Rezai, Haidari, test for Ri Myung-guk, which he passes with ease. And time starting to run a little short for North Korea.
Well, one of their issues tonight has been one of their best players, Pak Nam-chol, who's really had a terrific game, but he's not the type of player you want on the ball repeatedly, and he's had more possession, certainly as a midfielder, than anyone else in North Korea's team. And you want to have a more creative player in that scenario. He's a very short back and sides footballer. Every team needs them. He's done a terrific job. Here he is on the ball now. He's picked one pass, which put Jong Tae-se away, but the rest of them have been either poor options or not expansive enough.
Another injury. Karim and Sarifad struggling with a knock to the ankle. But he could be, and probably will be, the match winner. There's his statistics. But it's his goal that has really stood out. Beautiful finish. No wonder he's been given the coveted number 10 jersey, once worn with such distinction, Andy, by the great Ali Karimi.
Yeah, they've got a fantastic tradition of producing good footballers. The team's not going great at the moment. Not on tonight's evidence, though. Might be reasons for that. We've repeatedly referred to the talk of flu in the camp. I can't get rid of that quickly enough. Third group game for Iran is against the UAE, and their fate will be a lot clearer after the match following this. They take on Iraq at Al Rayyan.
Almost a showdown for second, that one, isn't it?
Bit fancy.
Jalal Hosseini asking his goalkeeper why he didn't come for that ball.
Had a good game. He's an impressive defender.
And Sarifad will see out the full 90. Even though the Iranians do have one more substitution up their sleeve, should they wish. Nekunam. Not been at his absolute best tonight. Maybe that flu bug has taken its toll. But he could have a big say in this tournament. Javod Nekunam, as he wins the header. Now Pejman Nouri is pinged and gets a yellow card for the raised elbow. Well, he wouldn't be a gladiator if he didn't end the game with a yellow.
Needs a flesh wound too, surely. Fair enough too. Forearm over the face. Well, both forearms are up actually. Anyway.
It's pretty much now or never for North Korea as they hang one up, and it's headed partially clear by Haidari. Rezai picks out a teammate, more by luck than good judgment. Koreans come forward again through Cha. Yang Yonggi. Kim Jong-mik, it's safely in the arms of Rahmati. Maybe, just maybe, the Iranians have done enough. Far from being at their best, but it was an awkward assignment.
Firing these diagonal balls into the centre of Iran's defence is mystifying.
Ladies and gentlemen,
And Sarifard still struggling with that injury. He's really hobbling. And there'll be 3 minutes of added time. Can North Korea fashion an opportunity? Maybe this is it. Kim Kuk-jin allowing the ball to bounce, and the chance has gone. Or has it? Hong Yong-jo! Oh, he grazes the crossbar. A whisker away from an equaliser.
Well, this was the moment. Javad Nekunam couldn't clear. Hong Yong-jo pounced. First touch, beautiful. Second, full of conviction. Just couldn't keep the shot down. Keeper beaten. It looked for all money as soon as he made contact that it was going to be a goal. With the ball angled up and over the bar.
Well, games are decided by fine margins, and there's not many finer than that. Late change by Iran. Mohamed Gholami is on in place of the injured and Sarifard. And Iran breathing a little easier after that scary moment from their point of view. That really would have put the cat amongst the pigeons in terms of the group standings. Razai, neat footwork, now Kalabadi trying to run down the clock.
With a goal there for North Korea, Simon would have vindicated their approach, which is to fight your way through, not play your way through.
You think it's a fair result?
Well, on effort, North Korea can't be denied. They've given everything, but I think they're better players than the team actually shows. And if they keep escaping in football matches, eking results like this and qualifying for World Cups, there's no imperative on them to change the way they do things. And I think for them to go to the next level, which they're capable of doing, they have to learn some hard lessons. Losing this match, given that chance from Hong Yong-jo, is going to be a hard lesson. Well, they must resist the temptation to sit back and say, woe is me, the football god didn't smile on us.
Well, of course, they're not necessarily out of the tournament, even if they lose today.
Indeed, that's true.
Final game to come against Iraq on the 19th of January. That's a clear handball. That's going to be a yellow card for Haidari. And this has got to be the last chance for North Korea. In fact, there's not even time for that. Iran have won it through Karim and Sarifard's goal in the 63rd minute. They had to work so hard for it. North Korea with that late chance, but Hong Yong-jo could not convert. And Iran go through to the quarterfinals. They have defeated North Korea by a 1-0. Well, the North Koreans crestfallen, but their approach, just to echo Andy Harper's thoughts, did not help them tonight. Iran will play better than this. They'll get Teimourian back. Some of the players who've been struggling with flu will be back. And they may yet pose a real threat to this Asian Cup. But the first part of the job is done. They're through the last 8 after defeating North Korea by a 0-0.
quality player of the best of the world. Would like to congratulate player number 5, Hadi Ahimi, for his outstanding play today. السيدات والسادة نود أن نعلن عن جائزة أفضل لاعب رباطي اليوم برعاية سامسونج يتسلمها اللاعب رقم 5 هادي أهيمي من الجمهورية الإسلامية الإيرانية. وتشرف سامسونج الراعي الرسمي بكأس آسيا قطر 2011 ومقدم جائزة أفضل لاعب لتهنئ اللاعب رقم 5 هادي أهيمي على مستواه العالي في المباراة اليوم. On Monday, 17th of January 2011,